What's up everyone, it's Scotty with MoneyVest. So this is going to be your weekly technical analysis update on the magnificent 7, 8, 9 stocks. So we're going to cover everything from Apple, Amazon, Meta to Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. Every single stock is going to be covered so you can plan your trades in the upcoming weeks. So the least you could do is drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it, and that's why I do these videos for you guys. These are super valuable. I go through the comments. They're super helpful. So I hope you enjoy it. And again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. And as of today, I've got an actual announcement to make. So our landing page is official. So if you go to moneyvest.com, you will be able to see our landing page. So this right here is going to be the website. So all you have to do is go to moneyvest.com, and this right here, boom, coming soon. If you want to get the early access to our beta launch, which is going to happen in February of 2024, you can access that. Link's going to be down below to get the early access. Everyone who's a member of our MoneyVest community towards the end of this year, so by December 2023, towards the end of this year, is going to be eligible for the beta launch, which is going to happen in February of 24. So I'm super excited for this platform. You have no idea how much work and effort and time and resources and energy is going into this every single day, back-to-back meetings, late nights and early mornings, and we are building something truly special for all of you. It's going to be fundamental analysis and macro analysis all tied into one platform. Think of it as TradingView, but for fundamental analysis and macroeconomics. So it's going to include every single little detail. I'm super excited where you can access the entire platform and of course analyze all these companies that you guys love. So link's going to be down below, and we'd love to have you on board. So for this video, of course, we want to go over the stocks that are very important for the overall market, and I'm going to go over the trend, right? So I'm going to highlight the entire trend for that individual stock or index, and I'm going to highlight some key levels of support and resistance in this video as well. So first of all, we're talking the S&P 500. So this is the SPX, and as you know that we have been on a very nice uptrend since October of last year. So that's very nice higher highs and higher lows, but 3 consecutive days of red. So you can see that we have just been selling off over here, and the market's been incredibly brutal, right, over the last couple of weeks. And for that reason, we're very much in this downtrend of lower highs and lower lows, and that's exactly why I mentioned that we're not out of the woods yet, right? Lots of people thought that towards this rally that we're going to break up to the upside, we're going to be back at all-time highs, we're going to be moving higher. That's great, start taking long positions. No, I mean, it's really important to see those breakouts, see that confirmation before you start going long and having those positions to the upside, because it's all tied to risk and reward. That's exactly why I wanted to get out of TQQQ. I wanted to get out of DFAN. I wanted to get out of a lot of the long trades because nothing's been confirmed yet. We're still very much in the context of this downtrend over here. And the bottom line is, this is actually quite the bad news, that we are starting to break down below the 200 simple moving average. That's the blue line you see on the chart. You can see that, on Friday, we kind of broke down below the 200 SMA. So we're very much in the context of a downtrend. So we are making lower highs and lower lows, unfortunately. So this is going to be a little bit of a zoomed in chart. As you can see that the very important support sits at 4,200. So that's going to be a very important support level. That's exactly where we have validated in the past. But in case we see a breakdown further, then 4,000 is going to be that next support level to watch for the S&P 500. So very much in a downtrend, unfortunately. Support level is going to be at 4,200. So we're basically watching 4,000 to 4,200 right now. So that's going to be the 2 support levels. So 4,200 first. If you see a breakdown, then 4,000. And resistance at the moment is going to stay put at 4,400. This right here is a level where we are getting rejected right now for S&P. So unfortunately, we are in a bit of a downtrend. We're making lower highs and lower lows. That doesn't mean that we can continue to see a sell-off, right? We could very well bounce back higher from that support of 4,200, but that's where we are. We're trading in a downtrend right now. So any long positions you do take have to be coupled with very nice support levels, volatility at an extreme, and you are trading with very tight stop losses because you would be trading against the trend, right? We talk about trends all the time when it comes to technical analysis. It's much easier to trade on the long side when trend is like this. It's much easier to trade on the downside when the trend is like this. And right now we are like this. So taking long positions in a downtrend can be very challenging. It can be a challenging trading environment if you are trading on the long side. So keep that in mind. And if you do get a breakdown below 4,200, well, next support is going to be 4,000. So that's going to be the level to watch. Nasdaq here, on the other hand, also in a little bit of a downtrend. So unfortunately, if you come over to the IXIC, which is a Nasdaq composite, again, very nice uptrend here since the October of last year. But more recently, you'll notice it's been trading in this downtrend, lower highs and lower lows at the moment right now. And the next support is going to be right over here, kind of in line with that 200 simple moving average, somewhere between 12,500 and 12,700. Although I would also argue that, the Nasdaq is sitting exactly in line with its previous support, right? So similar to what we have seen in the past for the Nasdaq. But given how accelerated selling pressure was on Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a little bit of more of that selling pressure to get us down to this support in line with that 200 simple moving average. Now, exactly where we are at the moment, so this right here, the level where we are is in line with this previous resistance and in line with this support level that we have also validated in the past. So it's possible that maybe next week buyers step in. Maybe we do see some momentum back higher from 13,000 back up to that level, back up to that resistance of around 13,800. So it is possible that we do see a reversal, but a much stronger support is going to be sitting roughly at 12,500, 12,700 levels in line with those moving averages and a previous support level as well. So right now, in a little bit of a downtrend, support level is going to stay put at 13,000. That's going to be the more important support. We'll see if next week we get a bounce back higher from those levels. And resistance is going to be sitting roughly at 13,866. So let's just round it up to 13,900 at the moment for the Nasdaq. Now coming over to Apple here, and this again is just a bigger chart, just a microscopic chart for the Nasdaq. Now when it comes to the Nasdaq, the Apple stock, this right here is the overall downtrending channel. And, I mentioned in one of my previous videos where it's not rocket science, right? It's not that difficult to identify patterns. This, very nice uptrend. But the moment a stock or an index starts showing signs of weakness, it will start making signs of this, lower highs and lower lows. You can identify it in any chart. And that's usually a signal of a trend reversal. That's usually a sign that the pattern is now weakening from an upside standpoint, right? It's starting to stall and the bears are taking control. And that's exactly what happened with Apple, right? It was on a very nice uptrend over here. You can see very nice higher highs, higher lows, boom, boom, boom. And then guess what happens? We see a big breakdown, start selling off, trading inside this downtrending channel of lower highs and lower lows. That's exactly why I've got the red flag over here. That's exactly why I've got the green flag over here, because this was a bullish trend reversal, and this is unfortunately a bearish trend reversal. So got rejected exactly at this price point at 180, right? We talked about this in our previous updates. And right now, 172 is going to be a reasonable support. We validated that level in the past, but in case we see a breakdown below this, well, we need to be ready to see Apple down in the 150s and 160s, coming down to this support level in line with this lower low and this horizontal support as well. So those are going to be some levels to watch for Apple. So support level right now, 172. Resistance is going to stay put at 180. That's exactly going to be the same. And we are very much in a downtrend for Apple. So those are going to be some levels to watch. 172 and all the way down to as low as 160s, right? That's going to be for the next week's update in case we see a breakdown below this level. But keep in mind, that's the lower low in line with this overall trend, right? Downtrending channel. So that's where we are. Talking next about Amazon. And Amazon also is in a downtrend. So you can see that we are making lower highs and lower lows at the moment. So this right here is the uptrend, very nice uptrend, but more recently, the lower highs and lower lows, and we saw a breakdown. However, it is now coming down to a very important support at 121. This is exactly where we validated that support in the past. It's also a couple times where we validated that support. So right now with Amazon selling off over here, we're coming back inside this green rectangle, which is going to be a very, very, very important support level to watch. Resistance is going to stay put right here at closer to $130, $334. So resistance at 134, support at 121 for Amazon, and still very much in a downtrend at the moment. So that's where we are for Amazon at the moment. Now going over to, all right. So going over to, hold on one second. All right, there we go. Now going over to Meta platforms, the Meta had a little bit of a breakout, right? So it did break out outside of this overall downtrend. So it was very much in this downtrend, very similar to some of the other stocks that I just showed you guys, but it had a huge breakout over here. You can see that massive green candle We broke out, but then got rejected at $325. So very, very important resistance there. Got rejected not once, but twice, the same exact level. And now we're starting to roll over once again. So support level is going to be next at 293. So this right here is going to be that level to watch. That's exactly where we validated that support previously. And resistance is going to stay put at 325. So, it's kind of hard to assess exactly what type of pattern Meta's in, but I would argue that it's now starting to trade sideways a little bit. So this is the broader range within which it's trading at the moment. So I'll keep that as a support at 293, resistance at 324. So 293, 325, and then a little bit of a horizontal pattern where it's basically just consolidating sideways in that range. So we don't really need to put red, but for the most part, it's trading sideways. Next one on the list is going to be Netflix. And Netflix here was also in a very nice uptrend of higher highs and higher lows, as you guys can see over here. But then more recently, it started consolidating sideways, getting rejected at that same resistance over and over and over again. That's going to be 452. Very, very important level of resistance, and support level is going to stay put at 348. So very nice resistance, acting as a very nice support here. We've got a gap to fill over here for Netflix and a resistance staying put at 452. So a little bit of a horizontal pattern, you could argue, and not really going anywhere. So that's really where the resistance sits at 452. And support level is going to stay put at 348 for Netflix, and same exact pattern as Meta, trading horizontally in range. Next one on the list is going to be Google. Now, Google was very much in an uptrend, and I would argue it still is very much because it did break down, but then it ended up making a new higher high and a new higher low. So forget about the rising wedge, but this right here could be considered as a nice higher high and higher low for Google, with a resistance sitting roughly at 144 and a support level. I mean, you could put down a higher low over here, which is going to be somewhere around 134, 135 for Google. But in case we see a breakdown below this, a much stronger support is going to be at 126, right? So I would put down a support at 126 to 134. So 126 to 134. Those are two levels. That's not a range. Those are two levels, 126 support and 134 support as well, with a resistance sitting all the way up to 144 for Google. And I would say it's still very much in an uptrend at the moment, considering that it's still moving higher, still making higher highs and higher lows. So very, very nice uptrend still for Google. Now, Microsoft is in a downtrend, so it's completely opposite to Google. This right here, very nice higher high and higher low. And then more recently, it started to make these lower highs and these lower lows where it's consolidating and obviously pushing lower and trading in this range. Now, this again can be considered as a bit of a red flag because it does show signs of weakness on Microsoft's part, and it's getting rejected at these levels at 340. So very strong resistance there, and support level is going to stay put at $311. So that is going to be that higher low, that horizontal low for Microsoft, sitting roughly at 311. So horizontal chart, very similar to Meta and Netflix. Resistance 340, support at 311 for Microsoft. So right now, so far, obviously the market doesn't look too good, because we got among Magnificent 7-8 stocks, Apple, Amazon clearly downtrend, Meta, Netflix in a horizontal pattern, Microsoft in a horizontal pattern, even Nvidia is going to very much be in a horizontal pattern. We'll get to that in just a minute, but let's talk about Tesla. Tesla broke down a lot of different types of patterns, and I mentioned this in one of my shorts, but if you take a look at what we're doing, this right here, lower highs, this right here, higher lows, and this was the massive breakdown that happened for Tesla. That's number one. Number two, if you take a look at the overall chart, this right here was the higher low, right? Validating here. I should draw a better one. So let me just move that up a little bit. There we go. So this was the higher low, right? Validating support, validating support, validating support, and then a huge breakdown happening for Tesla. So breaking down from its 9-month low, and also breaking down the symmetrical triangle. So a couple breakdowns happened, and this right here is the previous resistance, potentially acting as a new support for Tesla at low 200s, right? 200s are going to be some levels to watch for Tesla here. And of course, we got a massive resistance sitting somewhere between $280 to as much as $320, right? That's been the range, what I've talked about in my previous videos. There's a lot of supply, there's a lot of resistance sitting right there for Tesla, and support level is going to be in the low 200s to as low as 210s. So, and not really a downtrend or an uptrend. I mean, it's starting to break down from this uptrend, from that symmetrical triangle as well. but it's kind of like it's not really making some serious lower lows or lower highs, right? Because right now we're trading at the exact same level as this right here. So it's a horizontal low. And then at the same time, we've been constantly getting rejected at these horizontal highs. So what I would put down for Tesla is a horizontal pattern with a support in the low 200s. So we're going to do low 200s and a resistance, somewhere between 280 and 320. That remains unchanged, right? That's exactly the level that we have been getting rejected at. There's a lot of supply sitting at those prices for Tesla. Now coming over to, and again, you can see that from this chart as well, previous resistance acting as a support, lots of resistance sitting right over here, 280 to 320. I mean, I guess you could argue a little bit over here that this is a lower high. So, but that still puts us as low 200s. So maybe I should change that to a downtrend, I think, because that's exactly what Tesla's doing right now, is still very much in a bit of a downtrend. As you guys can see over here, this right here is the downtrend. If we do break down, that's really where we would end up, in the low 200s. Nvidia, lots of consolidation sideways. This right here is the overall chart for Nvidia. So we're seeing, horizontal pattern of getting rejected at 490. So that's going to be that resistance for Nvidia at $490. Support level is going to stay put right over here. That's going to be sitting roughly at $400, right? So low 400s is going to be for Nvidia. And of course, we got a gap to fill over here. We'll see if it eventually gets down there. But right now, it's a lot of consolidation sideways in that range for Nvidia. Next one on the list is going to be Advanced Micro Devices, and that's the last stock. Unfortunately, I would say very much in a bit of a horizontal pattern. It was in a downtrend, so you can see that it was in an uptrend over here. Very nice higher highs and higher lows. Then a little bit of a downtrend, lower highs and lower lows. Then it started to break out. So this right here was the breakout candle for AMD, and now we're really just consolidating sideways because we're getting rejected at this level. That's going to be $112, something that we have talked about in our previous videos, $112, and a massive amount of support sitting at $100. So that's really the consolidation that's happening for AMD, $100 support and $112 resistance. So what we have here is only Google, right? Only one stock that's actually holding up the market from an uptrend standpoint. Apple, Amazon, Tesla, some of the biggest market cap companies in a downtrend. Meta, Netflix, and Nvidia, and AMD, and Microsoft are kind of in limbo here, trading sideways in a horizontal pattern. So, unfortunately, if they start to break down here from a downtrend standpoint, as I've done here, like if they start to break down and start showing signs of downtrend, well, then the matters are going to get worse for S&P and Nasdaq. However, if they start moving more towards the uptrend side, right? So if they start kind of pushing higher from a horizontal pattern to start breaking out to new highs, higher highs and higher lows, then it's possible the market's overall downtrend also reverses and we start seeing some higher highs and higher lows and an uptrend for the overall market. But that all is going to depend on the price action of these companies because they basically control over 30-35% of the market cap of the S&P and the Nasdaq. So we're going to be on constant watch for these levels. And of course, which ones do get breached first. If resistance levels get broken, great. There's possibility that we do start seeing some upside and some more uptrends. If these support levels get broken, it's going to be a tough time for the market. So there's your technical update on big tech and on Magnificent 7 and 8 stocks here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, found it helpful. If you did, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget 16% annual discount available till the end of this month. And you do get access to all the buy and sell alerts, options alerts, trade ideas, members only private videos, Excel spreadsheets, stock reports, and now also the early access to our beta launch. Go to moneyvest.com and sign up there as well. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.